Dustin Jacoby versus Azamat Murzakanov. This is a fight between two strikers, although Murzakanov's a wrestler too. He's more of a striker as a fighter. 12-0 with 9 TKO victories, 1 submission, 2 decisions. Azamat Murzakanov has 2 third-round finishes in the UFC, which is very impressive. He beat Devin Clark, a fight in which he was on his way to winning, and he beat Tafon Nchukwi, a fight in which he was on his way to losing. That was his debut, and it was very impressive. But it does look like the wheels are going to come off at any moment, and I'm picking them to come off here. Dustin Jacoby, I think, is a bad matchup. Of course, Jacoby is a little vulnerable as a grappler. You know, if Murzakanov is able to take him down, which should be his game plan. But Dustin Jacoby, he's looked like a very good fighter in his second UFC run here. You could argue he won his last fight against Khalil, I'm sorry. And I do think he won that fight, although it was razor thin. But in general, this version of Dustin Jacoby, you know, he's already had that glory experience. He should be the better kickboxer, and that combined with his height and reach advantage of 5 inches and 7 inches, I expect Dustin Jacoby to dominate, really, on the feet, you know, in the striking realm. And that's why I really like his money line at -165, and I like his decision line at +165, but I don't love it, because even if he does win, there's a good chance he gets a TKO. I just think he's developing into more of a decision striker. I expect him to win this decision with leg kicks, by the way. Of course, punches will be involved, but I think the difference will be leg kicks. That's where he's going to make the most of his reach and his height, I should say, and his length. But Azamat Murzakanov is a guy who's got wrestling in his back pocket. I know he's known as a wrestler, and he can make Dustin Jacoby pay for trying to mix in too many kicks. And I think he'd be wise to do that. This guy's a capable guy, but he hasn't impressed me in the UFC. You know, if he didn't get that comeback over Tafon Nchukwi, it would have just been so disappointing, because he looked flat in that fight. He didn't look flat against Devin Clark, but Devin Clark is a guy who is, you know, I'd hate to say he's an athlete more than a fighter, but he's not the most technically sharp fighter in any department. He is primarily amongst the other fighters, and he is one. He's an athlete. And Murzakanov, he's fighting more than an athlete here. Dustin Jacoby, he's a bigger, stronger kickboxer, and I think this is his fight here. So I like Dustin Jacoby. Murzakanov, you know, I probably would have given him more respect here if he had brought it in his UFC debut, but he didn't. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm going Dustin Jacoby. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.